Hey, this is Reggie Fab coming at you. This is week 2 of my year of living differently, and this week was all about learning. I really was struck when I thought about how much time I spend learning for my profession and how little time I spend learning for just me. Things that I'm interested in, things that I want to do around the house, things that I think are fun. And so I really wanted to spend some time on learning for personal growth. I really found out last year, the end of last year, just some fun things, like even on YouTube, this hairstyle with lock knots. I learned that from Cheska Locks, and I will include the link in the video description box. And some fun things to do with nails and all kinds of things. But there are a lot of opportunities for us to learn things that will help us in our personal lives and just some fun stuff. So I really wanted to take this week and explore that. So the first thing that I focused on was learning things that I already have. I was amazed when I looked at all of the programs I have on my computer that I don't really know how to use. And so as I've been doing this video project, I have Adobe Premiere. And it's a great video editing software program, but it definitely requires that you know how to use it. So I did some searching, and Adobe has a video channel actually on YouTube where they have all kinds of tutorials, all of their products. And I watched about 6 or 7 tutorials, went back, really tried to use them on the computer, and I was amazed at how quickly I was able to pick up things that had been frustrating me before when I was just trying to do piecemeal things. I will also include a link to the Adobe website for all the tutorials, so you can check that out if you happen to have Adobe programs. But whatever it is, there are probably lots of things that you have on your computer that you don't know how to use, so find out. YouTube and the internet is an amazing, amazing tool and really, really resourceful, and you can do it for no cost as long as you've got internet access in the computer, so check it out. The second thing that I did, I really wanted to start cooking with new spices. And so my friend Will is a superior cook. He cooks all kinds of different ethnic foods. And so I was able to raid his spice cabinet. I was pleasantly surprised that the majority of spices I actually have cooked with. I'm not a big heat fan. I'm a little bit of a spice wimp. So a lot of the spicier spices I haven't used so much, but I still know how to cook with them. But I realized I've never cooked with saffron. I enjoy saffron rice, but I had no idea how to use it. So worked with him, and he gave me some instructions on how to cook with saffron. But there are a wide variety of spices out there that I've never even thought about using. And so there's a great website, Van Spices. I've included a link to that in the video description box. And not only can you order spices from this website, but it gives you a description of what the spice is, what it does, what you use it with, how you use it. And it's a really great quick instant lesson on using a spice, so that if you're going to spend 6, 7, 14, 20 bucks in some cases on a new spice, you kind of have a sense of whether or not it's a good investment for you. The third thing that I did was to read a book of a minor prophet. I read the Bible a lot. I'm a pretty avid Bible reader. But I find that I wind up reading the same passages over and over and over again. So the end of the Old Testament, I know all the books. I know they're there. Maybe there's the occasional verse or two that gets pulled out for a sermon, but I never really read them on purpose. So I decided that I was going to read the book of Joel, which is only 3 chapters, really short book. Interesting. It's kind of, Joel's an interesting person. Don't really know a lot about him. It's almost an isolation text, but very historical with what's happening with the Israelites and the Babylonians. And so, they've really been just hit hard by this plague. The locusts have come. They've really eaten all of the food. The livestock just not there. And they're really in the midst of this plague and bout. It's all about the fact that the people have turned away from God and about calling them back, repenting of their sins and going back to God. But the thing that gets emphasized in this is the fact that you have to mourn. You have to mourn for the life that you had. So that you mourn for the livestock, you mourn for the crops that are lost, you mourn for the suffering that has been inflicted on you, and then repent. And one thing that I realize that I do a lot is I want to skip that whole mourning bit. I want to just kind of pretend it didn't happen and move on to the next thing. It's a really important part of the process because you don't get to reconciliation until you've done the mourning and the grieving and recognizing that you did experience a loss and acknowledging that hurt. Otherwise, you're just covering the hurt over and you don't really get rid of it. It doesn't go away. You just bury it deep, and all buried things will rise at some point in time. So that was something interesting and a really good personal lesson that I got out of reading the book of Minor Prophet without a sermon. Who knew? So that was really great. But one of the best things that happened to me this week was I had accidental learning opportunities. So I was talking with my friend Paul, who got a new television, and he's setting it up, and he says, hey, they've got TED on here. It's great. And TED is a site where they have guest lecturers, and they have about 10 to 20 minute talks on a variety of topics. It was amazing. I can't even get to all of the topics they had. There was one about ethical riddles in HIV research. There was one about patent sharing, having a patent pool for HIV meds. There was a gentleman who started a revolution by creating affordable sanitary napkins in India. It's just really amazing, the variety of talks. But one that was particularly of interest to me is how gaming can actually add 10 years to your life. And I was really, really skeptical. I'm not a gamer, but this was a fascinating talk. And I have included a link to that talk in the video description box. But Jane, who is the guest lecturer, talks about several things that we can do. And one of the things that she talks about is building emotional resilience and just changing your attitude. So having things in your life that make you smile, that instantly take you back to a happy place. Pictures. So I really love the beach. I love puppies. I love Paris. I love Robert Downey Jr. So things that will instantly make me smile, just having pictures available so that as I have negative thoughts, as I'm in a big funk, I can go to some pictures and start changing my attitude, just forcing myself to get out of those funks, to have those happy thoughts just by looking at a picture or thinking of something positive. And obviously we all know about the power of positive thinking, but this is a little different. And so it's really engaging. I'm not going to spoil it all for you. Like I said, the link is in the video description box. I really, really encourage you to check it out. The other accidental learning opportunity I had is I went to the library. Now, I am a huge fan of the concept of libraries. I think it's important to have as much information available to as many people as possible in a society. Personally, though, I never check anything out from the library because I hate being on a time limit and I like to own my books. So I rarely go. However, I decided to go to the library and I didn't check anything out. I just went and I got a couple of books. I actually went to see if I could get some books on how to use Premiere. Maybe I could pick up a few additional tips. They didn't have any, but one of the things that I did is pick up books on things I already know how to do. So I picked up a book on how to use iTunes, and I picked up a book on blogging. And even though it was something that I knew, they had additional tips, things I hadn't really thought about, things that I could do to improve what I was currently doing. And so just going to the library and spending some time walking around, checking out books, seeing what's there, some things that probably would never have occurred to you to read, is just a really, really wonderful opportunity. And I'm going to build library time into my schedule moving forward. Also, little trick, handy trick, I took my phone. And so as I saw books that were interesting that I might want to come back to, I just took a picture of the cover. That way I had the title and the author, and I can look it up and see if it's something worth investigating later. So really quick, little easy thing to do that will prove to be very beneficial in the future. So also, quick check-in on last week's goals. I didn't run. I still really hate it. I'm gonna run this week though, but I've been working out. I've been doing my Wii exercises. That's a lot better for me, and so that's been good. I also ate at the table again by myself, forcing myself to do that a little bit more, just to really explore those feelings and find out what that's about. So, still checking in on some of the things that I'm doing from prior weeks, but really focusing on the things ahead. So this week coming up is going to be about things that I should be doing. So this test is going to be for me to do things that I should be doing every single day for a week and come back and talk to you about that next week. So until then, bye.